Good morning and welcome to my rug hook and talk show. Welcome back for those that have been following, and my name is Annette and I'm a rug hooker for probably over 20 years at this point. Okay, so I just wanted to share, this is what we're still working on today, and I feel like this is taking a long time, but that's sometimes what happens. So yesterday I found a rug that I must have put away and forgot about it. Yeah, so I think I might be working on that for my next rug. I guess I'm getting quite forgetful because I normally never put a rug away without finishing, but we did do the basement and packed a lot of stuff up, and my rug hooking stuff was one of them. So that being said, let's get over to my books. I want to show you a new book today. Well, it's not new so much. Okay, here we go. Okay. Sorry for being off the camera. Okay. I have this back. I have two or three different things to show you today, which I think you're going to like. Okay. First is for those of us out there who love working on primitives. Some people work on primitives in that style of cut and design, but work on modern topics or modern abstracts, and that's perfectly wonderful and great. Whatever you want to do is your thing. Okay, so here's Designing and Hooking Primitive Rugs. This is not a new book. This has been out for a while, and by Susie Stevenson, and I think she even has a YouTube video out also. This is a great book. This just has a gazillion pictures. They're all so beautiful. And they're all on primitives. So this is designing one, hooking one, finishing one. This is everything you'd want to know in this great book with, let me tell you how many pages. Quite a few. 95, 96 pages. And here's a shot of Susie. There you go. Okay, so that's one. Okay. The next book I wanted to share with you is a really cool book. I like this book. It's Hooked on Wool. It's rugs, quilts, and more. And they do a runner in here and some really beautiful, beautiful stuff. They have some Christmas stuff too, for those of you who are into Christmas or the holidays. But as you can see, here's a picture of their primitive style, and she really does a great job with this. I like it. It's a really good book. Lots and lots of ideas. So this is the primitive style, and for those of you who don't know what that is, it's hooking with a wider cut, but also the subject matter is usually pretty simple, and it's not as precise looking. It's meant to look a little aged and old and primitive, like you would have found this rug packed away in somebody's attic from, 50, 60, 70 years ago. So that's what that's supposed to look like. What I did stumble across were these great magazines, and for those of you who don't know about them, it's called Primitive Quilts. But it's Primitive Quilts and Projects, and the other projects are usually hooked rugs, and rug hooking projects. So I'll quickly show you. There's usually a very warm, cozy kind of magazine. It's got these pretty warm colors and a little fireplace, and it's just very pretty. So in here is some stuff. That's a quilt, but again, like I said, you can transfer quilt designs over to rug designs quickly. Okay, so here's a hooked rug. So just so you can get an idea of what they're doing. There you go. Okay. So that's Primitive Quilts, and it's a great magazine. Lots of primitive, fun stuff inside, and you will like it. I get it. I subscribe to it. It's a little cheaper because the libraries did not have it. But for those of you who even love quilting and you like primitive quilting, this is a really good magazine. So that's my books for the day, and I hope you're all doing good out there and you're hooking away. And So I understand if you're not a YouTube member, you can't leave a comment or like the show. But go ahead and do that. That would be cool. I'd love to know what you're working on. Just drop a comment in the comment section letting me know. Okay, so I have my coffee going on here. And checking on that. Okay, so I have a piece of, as you can see, there's a piece hanging here that I didn't get to finish. So I'm just going to continue working on that and pull it up and keep going with this, because one day it will be finished. I know we all think of that. Is this rug ever going to get done? You know, we do. We get excited to make it. We want it finished so we can do what? What is it that we normally want to do after we finish a rug? We want to start the next one, don't we? And also we want to see the finished product, because clearly this just doesn't look really good until it's all bound and trimmed and all that blocked and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, but it's that next rug that I'm sure is tugging away at us as we sit here and wonder, is this rug going to get finished? And they all get finished. And like I said, if you just do 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, block out that little bit of time for yourself, because that's what gets the rug done. I mean, yes, if you're lucky enough to have blocks of time to sit and work on your rug, absolutely your rug's going to go along a lot quicker than those of us who are spending 10 minutes a day. But then you also have the situation where you work on it for an hour or two, and then all of a sudden 2 weeks go by because you've been working on it for so long that sometimes it gets a little tedious. So I try to stick with at least, let me just do 10 minutes, and if that's all I did for the day, I did 10 minutes of hooking. So it does work to get that rug done if you kind of stick to a little 10-minute a day rule, 5 minutes a day, anything. You know what? Any minutes a day. How about that? Will help get your rug completed. But enjoy the process. You know, it's not about finishing it. I mean, ultimately, we're going to finish our rug and we want to see it finished. But that's the beauty of rug hooking. It's the process. I think rug hookers just love the process of looking at wool and checking out different colors. And you know, for those of us who dye our wool, that's a lot of fun. I mean, I had almost as much fun dyeing my wool as I do hooking them. And I swore that I would never, ever dye wool. Like, that is not for me. It's not happening. And I love it. You know why? It's very simple. It's very easy to do. Quickly, I'll show you. Since we're on the topic. Okay, let me grab my glasses on. Okay. Oh, this is a little dusty, but okay, see? Here's just a big red plastic bowl. And that's where I put the wool in when I'm finished with it. Okay. Let me go over here. At this point, I'm not going to hook anything. Okay, so I got a big old lobster pot. As you can see, it says dye pot on it. And it's just an old lobster pot I got for $3 at the Goodwill store. Okay, comes with a lid. I don't really use the lid for anything, but it came with the lid, so I'm keeping it. And basically, you put your water in here. You let it come nice and hot. You take your scrunched up, wet, soaked, you let it soak a little, your wool, and you put it in the bottom here. Depends on what you want. If you want a full color, one color, then you fill up the water so that all the wool is covered. And then you mix that water well with the dye. You let it become even, so the color's even. If you want it more mottled and aged, well, then you'd put very little water, just barely enough to kind of just possibly get to the top of the scrunched wool. The part that's not scrunched is fine, because that part is going to stay a different color tone because of the water not covering it. after 20 minutes of boiling that, you check to see if the dye is gone. With RIT dye, 90% of the dye is pulled up. There's some left for RIT is a whole different ball of wax, but it dyes pretty cool. You then dump in some vinegar, some citric acid, something to set the color, and you let it soak another 5 or 6 minutes, and that's it. It is so much fun. So in here I have some gloves that I use for dyeing, just rubber gloves, and I have little jars that I mix the RIT dye in. Okay, so the RIT dye comes in little liquid form, and I'm sure most of us have seen this. It's powder. So you know what? Powder, liquid, it doesn't make a difference. I pour it in a glass to get the color I kind of want, and then I pour it in sections over the wool to make it like mottled look, and then I add a different color in. And sometimes the color tones come out just the way I want them, and sometimes they come out better, and sometimes they just come out different. But I don't think anybody in rug hooking who's dyed wool will ever say, I will not be able to use that, even if it doesn't come out the color you're looking for. So understand that it's that. I do keep this little jar here. I'm giving you a dye lesson today. That's crazy. Okay. So I keep this little jar here with this poker. That's just to poke the wool down where it's kind of popping up where I might want to get a little bit more color to it. And when I have taken to dyeing my twill tape if I don't have the color that I really want. I dyed one of my twill tapes a mottled blackish brown color because it was going around the edge of a black background primitive style rug, and I did do that, and it came out really cool. So that's what I do if I have a lot of natural colored twill tape. So if I don't get a color that I like, I dye it. I go ahead and dye it. RIT dyes cotton and it dyes wool, so this works for me. I know there's purists out there that are like, oh my god, you're not using Cushing dyes or Prochem or Magic. You know, I just haven't gotten around to it. I'm sure I'd love them and I would love to try them, so I have just not gotten around to ordering them. This is what was local and this is what I've been using. So, and for the twill tape, by the way, you keep it in as long as you check it from time to time. If you want it really, really dark, I leave it in overnight for like a dark brown, dark black, navy, that sort of thing. And if I'm looking for like just a different look, you just keep pulling it out and testing it and seeing what it looks like, and that's about it. And use gloves, and that's it. Everything goes back into my pot, and I have great fun with that. So, like I said, this is for rinsing the wool out. Once you let it cool, make sure you let your wool cool if you do decide to do this, because it's very, very hot. And it will burn you, because it's burned me. I've been there and done that. So, you got a quick little tutorial on hooking there. And that's it. As rug hookers, I think we become very resourceful. When we need something, we just keep going at it, and eventually, I learned to dye my twill tapes. And it was fun, because I made some, most of the twill tapes you find out there are solid. And I thought it was kind of cool to see this mottled looking twill tape. I had never seen that I could buy something like that. I mean, maybe they're out there. I just haven't come across them. And if you have seen them, let me know. Drop me a line, because who doesn't like a good source for certain things? As I get older, I guess I'm going to stop doing certain things. But dyeing is a little bit of work, but it's so much fun. Just make sure you have vinegar on hand. I don't use the citric acid. I wouldn't even know where to buy that. I guess you could buy it off of a website. I'm sure everything comes off of the internet, doesn't it? So I'm sure I can get it off of there. Okay, just clipping my little edges here. And let's see, still looking for my greens. Okay, that's a good green. That looks nice. And that's what we're working on. We're just working on finishing this up, doing the border. I try to hook on the straight edge, when I'm doing my border, but sometimes that doesn't happen. I mean, this looks dramatically wavy over here because of the way it's pulled. It's probably not, but it might be. When I lay this out, I'm going to take it off of this when I take this out. I just want to see. You can fill in. Fill in. It doesn't matter. It's just because it's not on a sew, put another straight edge over there. That's what I've done before. And you know what? It's beautiful because it's handmade, and it should look like it's not made by a machine. And that's the beauty of seeing a rug where you can see that a hand work was put into it. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to rug hook. It's so easy, and one little pull up of a loop, and there you go. So yeah, get those magazines, get those books. If you can pull them out of the library, that's what I've been doing. I take a lot of the rug hooking books out of the library first to see if I like them. And then if I really like them and find that the information in there is something I'm going to go back to and refer to often, a good resource of information, I buy the book. And obviously Amazon has probably the best prices out there that I've seen. I am a Barnes & Noble member, and so I get some stuff from them, and I get like 2-day shipping for free, so there's some little benefits for being a Barnes & Noble member. Plus I have a Barnes & Noble nearby my house, so although they don't offer the discount that you get online, I thought that was kind of odd. There was a book at the store for, let's say, $20, and online it was like $13.99. So I asked the lady, and she says, no, the store and the warehouse are two different entities to the business, so you don't get that discount. So I learned that. But clearly Amazon does have probably the best prices on just about anything. So there you go. Okay, so I'm coming to the end here, and it's getting close to this thing, and it's uncomfortable to hook for me for that. So I'm just going to move right back here and continue, because there's a little space, if you could see. I don't know if you could see right over. There's a little space, and I want to get that, because that's not going to look nice at all. And that doesn't need to be there. So I'm hooking that. And I should have this done. I'm going to try to do a little bit more off-camera hooking so that we can get to the finishing on this and see what I'm doing. And still not sure yet. Not sure how I'm going with this. So I was thinking of trying a new method by machine, because the tediousness of working on this, the binding part. It's pretty simple. Like I said, if you have the twill tape and it's machine sewn on beforehand, it's a very easy way to finish. That is the ultimate easy way, and that's normally what I do. So what was I thinking? I wasn't, apparently, when I started doing this, and I didn't put the twill tape on. So now I'm at the crossroads, and how am I finishing this? So clearly I could still do that tape on here, and then hook up to it. I don't know. Or I could get a zipper foot and cut away about a ½ inch, zigzag at first, and then cut away, and then machine stitch right on top, very close, with a zipper foot, and then pin it so that it stitches to the back. So I might be trying something like that. You know, we get nervous experimenting, because once you cut, that's it. You've got to be able to finish that somehow. So, I mean, somehow it'll get finished. I'm not too concerned. It's you know, when it's something handmade, that's what you do. It's not like a machine. It's not like the perfect procedure that you have in mind. I should have twill taped it, but I think the problem was I didn't really have that green, and I was probably supposed to dye one up, and I didn't, and I wanted to start hooking, and that's what happened. So anyway, But this green background, like I said, is really, really pretty. And I just can't wait to try it again with another color, maybe in blues. Yeah, that would be pretty. Something blue and gray. I have to do a butterfly rug this year coming up for my granddaughter because her room has butterflies in it. Her mommy did a really pretty butterfly motif in the room with some little designs, not all over the wall, so we thought this would be pretty to add in a little rug with some butterflies. And I'll go ahead and use that butterfly motif and to trace those butterflies. And I believe I even have another butterfly motif on paper, so I'll be cutting that out and showing that to you if and when you're still following my shows, and you'll at some point see me start a butterfly rug. So my granddaughter's little, so she wouldn't really notice it at this point, but hopefully by next year I could have it for her. She'll be 2 next year, so I think she would really appreciate and look at the pretty butterflies and like it. She's very, very smart, so that's just because I know she is very smart. But anyway, so we're just finishing up here, and like I said, try to get your 10 minutes in, drink your coffee, and enjoy the process, and look at the colors. You know, we tend to go through a rug and try to finish it and get to the end, but I'm learning to just sit back and look at it and enjoy what has even been done on it, and just look at my handiwork and just think of the time that's put into it. It's a really amazing craft to know that it's there, it's waiting for you the next day, and you've got your rug, and you're going to work on that and just bring it closer to the finish line. So yeah, sometimes you even miss a rug. If you've really enjoyed working on one, you start to miss it. And that's what, I guess, catapults you into the next rug, because we've got all these great ideas in our head as rug hookers. Everything, like I said, is an idea to hook. It's a design to hook. And there you go. Okay, so we are moving along here. It's getting there. This whole side is done. So when I get to probably here, I'm going to take this off so we can look at it and see what it's looking like. Okay, a lot of this color going on. I'm trying to fill this little section in to just get me to that end. As you can see now, my rug hook is having a little bit of a hard time getting into the backing. It is getting quite packed in there now, and it shouldn't be. I mean, so I might be hooking a little too much. I don't know. It's still going in. Let's see. Okay. Like I said, we try not to hook too much because it stresses the backing too. That's another thing. People ask why do you worry about that? And that's because the rug hooking could get a little bit stressed out. You could see it. I mean, nobody even has to tell you that. When you start to see it getting hard to put your hook there, I mean, you can sense that it's getting a little tight, and the backing shouldn't have to be that stressed. Gosh, even backing gets stressed. I thought we just got stressed. Our poor backing gets stressed, so we don't want to do that to our backing. Bad enough I stress people out. I don't need to stress out my backing. Okay, so we're getting in. So, like I said, it's a little bit more hard to get it back there. You might have to work it in, but I don't want to leave any blank spots. That is not a good look on a hooked rug. I mean, at this point over here, I'm not going to continue hooking. It is getting so tight, and once that's pulled up, no one's going to see anything, so I think we're safe. There's no backing showing. So, there you go. Let me get you a little close up. Could you see? Let's see what we're seeing in the camera. Okay. So, you see? We're getting it pretty close. There you go. It's finishing up around the picture, the gray picture. And I think my thumbtack popped out from me pulling on it so hard. There we go, we'll get it back in. Okay, there you go. Okay, so look at that. We're really filling it in, and it is looking great. So I'm going to do one more strip here, and then call it a day for my hooking, because we've got some work to do upstairs. And that'll probably get me my good 10-15 minutes in of straight hooking. I just want to thank you for tuning in, because I feel like I've got a little group to hook with, and I hope you feel that you've got some company while you're hooking, and I hope you're enjoying working on your rug and drinking your nice hot cup of tea or coffee. And like I said, if you're tuning in from America, up in the Northeast, it's starting to get a little cold, and that kind of weather, the fall is here, so the leaves are falling and changing, and that's what we're kind of getting. So, okay, so over here we're doing this kind of like line after line, and I don't want it to be too lined up, so I think I might just backtrack with this right over here and bring it back the other direction, because I don't know if I like to go green all the way under there. This is a pretty strong color green, so I might just bring it up and end it over here. Let's say that might be an option. Maybe I'll just end it right there. Okay. There you go. I'm going to pull it up and end it there. That's the beauty of this. You can do whatever you want. You can end it wherever you want. You can begin it wherever you want. You can have any cause and effect on this rug comes from you. And you make it unique and beautiful, and however style you're following, guess what? It will still always come out as yours, because you and that person that you might be trying to copy hook differently and just look at colors differently. And that's the beauty of this, that everybody looks at their rug differently and sees something different, and that's great. That's what makes it, turns it into art, is that everybody can pull something out of it that might be a little different. A rug that has bright colors might cheer somebody up, and for somebody else it might just make them feel a little agitated. So, you know, what works for one person is different for another. One person might absolutely love the background of a rug, and another person might feel very compelled by the main design of the rug and enjoy looking at that part of it. So it's all good. What you see in it is what you see in it, and what others see in it is what others see in it, and that's a beautiful thing. So okay, that's what we're up to today. I'm going to try to do some off-camera hooking so that we can get to the end. I want to take this off in my next episode and lay it down for you, and we'll see what edges might need to be filled in. I'll put a little magic marker line there and recorrect myself. And that's about it. So until we meet again, thanks for joining me, and happy hooking.